Welcome to the Mixed Reception Podcast. I'm your host, Barrett Sigmund, and today, blast from the past. I haven't seen this guy in maybe 6 or 7 years. Geoff Terry, what is up, man? It's growing great. For those who don't know, I was in the Coast Guard, and we were stationed together. We were stationed at 5th District, Portsmouth, Virginia. So that's how we know each other. He was an ME. I was a YN, a yeoman. And you would always come up to my desk. We'd always talk about like comic book movies and like stuff like that, superhero movies and stuff.
Whatever was out or coming out, we always stop and chop it up a little bit. And then somebody would come in and talk to them, worry about their like pay or leave and stuff. And I was like, oh, I guess I better go.
Yeah, so that would happen a lot. So yeah, actually, we didn't talk about that much. So today, we kind of went back and forth what movie we should talk about. With you, I knew it had to be a superhero movie. So today we're talking about Man of Steel, which I gotta say, we talk about mixed reception. It doesn't get more mixed reception than Man of Steel. This is, I would say, probably, I'm going to say the most polarizing superhero movie ever. Would you agree?
It's one of the top ones. Pretty much anything with Zach Snyder after, I'd say 300 Watchmen era, that was like, he just went, you know what? I'm going to do it my way and, polarize the hell out of it. So,
yeah, that's right. Watchmen. A lot of people did. I actually like Watchmen. A lot of people didn't like it.
That's the problem, is that a lot of people didn't read the comic book. The only real thing it made sense why they took out the giant squid angle and said, "Hey, Dr. Manhattan's the reason." I was like, okay, makes sense,
But did you watch the HBO show?
No.
Oh, okay. The HBO show, they do the squid.
No.
They actually do it, and I was kind of with you because. Which this will be a great episode to do in the future, because Watchmen, I have a lot to say about that movie. But I was kind of with you at the time. I was like, yeah, I think just throwing in an alien squid would just be really weird in a movie form. But the HBO show is like a direct sequel to the graphic novel. It has nothing to do with the movie, and they do have like flashbacks, and they show the squid, and they pull it off, I gotta say. So I still like that movie, but yeah, I kind of wish that it was more closer to the ending of the graphic novel.
Yeah, it was good to see Rorschach on screen because he was my favorite Watchman. I think I have a type when it comes to superheroes: Batman, Rorschach, Punisher, the dark, just street level dudes.
Okay, awesome. All right, so. Give me your what's your experience with Man of Steel? And do you like Superman? Are you a Superman guy?
All right. So I'm from Cleveland. Jerry Schuster and Joel Siegel were from Cleveland. If you go to the Cleveland International Airport, there is a display, like almost a whole wall display for Superman. That's how big he is in Cleveland. My uncle was a big comic book fan. He was a Superman fan mostly, and he got me into comic books. And then he showed me a Batman comic book, and I was like, wait, this guy? And he just did that? So yeah, that meant Batman was my favorite hero. I still remember when the animated series came out, I was babysitting for him and his kids, and we watched the episode. And I remember still to this day of him laughing like a maniac when a Batman was riding on top of Man-Bat, punching me in the head. Like, yeah, okay, I like this guy. So almost.
You're more of a Batman fan as opposed to Superman.
Yeah, I grew up on all of them: Batman, Superman, X-Men, Marvel, DC, Image, all that. And then I realized how much money I was spending, and then I was like, I got to thin this out. And then it all just boiled down to, hey, Batman, cool.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Batman, I'm sure you're excited about the new movie.
Yeah. I'm pretty excited, but it's still like DC needs to pick a road.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that because, this was Man of Steel. It's kind of interesting to revisit because this was supposed to kick off the DC EU or whatever the hell it's called, and
After Green Lantern
of
failed.
it kind of yeah. Well, was Green Lantern supposed to be the real beginning?
Yeah, that was the like, hey, Ryan Reynolds, Green Lantern, boom. And that's with Hal Jordan, that's not Ryan Reynolds.
No,
They're
not at
too,
all. I think he
you
would have been
know,
better like Flash. I don't know, maybe.
yeah. I mean, he probably would have had more of a realistic running effect than what we got in Justice League. Um, but it was just a miscast, wasted potential because people say that was Ryan Reynolds' worst superhero movie, but we're not going to talk about Wolverine Origins
Oh, that was so bad.
Or the other one that most people don't know, R.I.P.D. is a comic book movie.
My dad loves that movie.
Really?
Yeah, he'll be like, "Oh, Barrett, have you ever seen R.I.P.D.? It's funny." I'm like, no.
I mean,
still haven't seen it.
With Marissa Miller in there, I can see that, but still, it's like,
I don't even know who that is. I don't. That movie just always looked dumb to me. But
yeah.
But yeah, my dad, he likes that movie. But yeah, no, this was supposed to kick off the DCEU, and it kind of, I don't know. I mean, you're right. Like, pick a path. I think the whole shared universe thing kind of isn't really a thing anymore. I think that now they're just kind of throwing whatever at the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah, I have an idea how they can fix. Well, everybody's got an idea how they can fix it. It was okay. So you know how it is with Zach Snyder fans. Well, like the Justice League fans, and like he can do no wrong, and it's like you all are so delusional. Like he's person. He was gonna make terrible movies. I mean, hell, my theory is if you give him a book, like say 300, and say make this, he will kill it.
I am so with you.
If you give him a blank sheet of paper and say, hey, come up with something, you're gonna get like Sucker Punch or Justice League, where it's like you let him go rogue, and and some people who you talk online and you tell them, hey, look, this movie is okay. It seems more like a rough draft than a full final product.
I agree actually to an extent. I actually do, but go on.
There's certain little key points that characters need to have. You can't have Captain America without a shield or like some type of patriotism in them. You can't have Batman. I call him bad math, murder man Batman. If there's a 1% chance that he's an absolute, it's like, dog, let's calm down, because you seem to be upset that he's killing, but then you're killing. What are you're afraid of competition?
Oh gosh, that's a whole nother discussion. The BVS thing.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll
get into it. But yeah, well, I agree with you though. To go back to what you're saying, like I think he's very good with visuals.
Yeah, and everybody seems to be confused because it's a visual medium and he's a visual director. It should go together, but you need somebody to actually write the script for him. That's why, like, I did some research on it, and the writers that's one of the reasons why it's a better movie than some of the other movies that he did for the DCEU, was because he didn't have as much of a hand. He just, here's a script.
Yeah, this was David S. Goyer.
Which he has hit or miss reviews.
Christopher Nolan was the producer on this. I think he helped out a little bit too with the writing.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, I would say, I don't know, 300 seems like his, maybe Watchmen. I don't know. What do you think his best movie is?
I would probably, and I know a lot of people are it's probably going to be 300 or Watchmen.
Well, that's what I was saying.
Or Day of the Dead.
Graphic novels. I mean, and those movies were very faithful to the source material. He really didn't, rock the boat too much. So yeah, I think, when he has to come up with a different, original story, that's why BVS, and we'll get more into it, but that's why that movie to me just is like a mess. It feels like 5 different movies just like shoved into one. But I don't know. It's like they really fucked it up. I mean,
it's a 1 + 1 = 2.
We have like 2 different Batmans. I guess Ben Affleck's coming back for the Flash. It's like, what are we doing here?
Technically we got 3 Batman coming out this year alone.
But yeah, Michael Keaton's in the new one.
The Flash.
Right.
So you got Michael Keaton, you got Patterson, and you've got Ben Affleck, which to me is funny because it takes two Batman, another Flash, a Supergirl to make Ezra Miller's Flash watchable. I'm sorry, I'm not buying him as Flash, but you know.
Well, let me ask you this, because when I asked you what you wanted to do, you were like, let's do the Snyder Cut, which I'd had already covered with my friend. But quick thoughts. What did you think of the Snyder Cut?
It seemed like a bunch of good ideas that he should have had some more like Paul Dini or somebody to help flush it out properly. Because there's certain little things like, how did Flash get his powers if he wasn't a cop with the lightning bolt and the chemicals and everything? You know, those little details that comic fans, like, forget the poster on the wall that says Batman is in this world. These are the little details you need to hit. These key character points, you know.
So you were not a fan of the Snyder Cut?
It was too long, too drawn out. Some scenes, I get you don't want to delete it because you feel some kind of way about it and the tragedy and all, but you know, 4 hours is a long time to sit through a movie. I mean, even as much as I love any of the Lord of the Rings, 3 hours is still 3+. Man.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I just watched the extended cuts like last year, and Jesus Christ, that's a lot. that's a big commitment. I low key, I kind of love the Justice League Snyder Cut. I did not like the fucking tacked on ending. That dream sequence with the Joker. Who's gonna give you a reach around? Like, I hate Jared Leto so much.
That cured my COVID. It made my cancer. Oh, yeah, it's gross.
Other than that, and I didn't like the Martian Manhunter twist. Other than
especially
that,
when you watch Man of Steel and you see him in there, and it's like, bro, I could have used another hand. You see, I got 3 Kryptonians trying to.
That was such. I mean, the whole Martian Manhunter thing. So that's such bullshit. If you watch, especially, I watched this last night. There's no way he's Martian Manhunter. Like what?
Yeah.
Like he is so clueless about what's going on. Like there's no way. Like he's a general. Okay. I don't know. I think I didn't mind the extra length because obviously it was on streaming, but like I don't know. You tighten it up a little bit, like edit some stuff here and there. I think this could have been a 3-hour movie that they could have released in theaters, and I think people would have responded well to it. I really do. I think they had something here. Ironically enough, that movie actually had some levity, unlike this one, which we're about to talk about. But I'm kind of with you. Well, you know what? I don't know. I think the Snyder Cut kind of pulled it off because my whole thing was like, okay, why these Aquaman and Flash need to have like their own movies beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I thought they did a pretty good. I mean, the extra length helped. If they weren't going to do the movies first, I think the extra length helped. I mean, I thought they were good introductions. And that movie actually does kind of set up the whole, not the original cut, but the Snyder Cut does kind of set up the whole, like the Flash, I guess, the Flashpoint paradox thing a little bit.
I guess I was listening to another YouTube channel that was talking about what was going to happen, the Justice League 2, 2A, and then some other movies. And it was like, whoa, which every so often he comes out with new stuff like, hey, look at this screenboard. I had it for, it's like, dude, you just made that. The ink's still wet. You know, just stop trying to make it seem like you had this in some safe in the back or something. It's like, I guess some people don't realize it. You guys are getting played. He's, you know, if you come out with these new storyboard screenshots, I'm not buying it, you know.
I hear you. So you're not a fan of Ezra Miller.
No,
I thought in the Justice League movie, I thought he was annoying. I thought because that movie is what it is. It's like they shoehorned in jokes in post, you know, when they did the reshoots. I thought he was a little better in the Snyder Cut. Actually, he wasn't
Yeah.
as annoying to me. I don't love him as the Flash either. I don't. He wouldn't be my
No.
first choice.
Well, it's really kind of a weird thing where you have Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman. All you change Aquaman to Jason Momoa, which works. I'll let that one go. To all these, you can hear the rock music playing in the background, and then you've got even Cyborg. Everybody is heroic and stoic, and then you got this guy who's like going on about these different tangents and stuff. Like the Snyder Cut made him better, but it was still like, I'm not a fan. Like I'm not gonna be a day one rush out to see his movie when it comes out in the theaters.
I'm kind of, I don't know. It takes a lot for me at this point with COVID and everything. I have to really, really be excited to go to the theater to see it. So that one, I don't know. I don't really give a shit. I'm kind of over superhero movies a little bit after Endgame. I don't know.
Endgame
I don't know how you feel. Endgame to me felt like kind of like the end of it, everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know that's Marvel, but you know what I mean? It felt like kind of the end of an era.
Right. It was a nice cap, and then you had the nice stinger with No Way Home with that Spider-Man movie.
That was good. I did see that in theaters. That was fun. That was a good one.
Yeah.
And I will say this, Batman, they can keep making now that I will see the Batman in theaters because I'm a huge Batman fan, and now they can make Batman movies for till the end of time.
One thing, if they do, when they do make more Batman movies, just one thing I have to say is, can we please stop watching the Waynes die?
I don't think
we've seen it in the comics, we've seen it animated.
I think this one, I don't think they're going to show it. This one, from what I read, it's like his second year being Batman. So it's not like it's early career, but it's not like a prequel or, you know,
I think
origin story.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we saw it in super slow motion. Hell, we even saw it in Joker's movie. I was like, can we got it now. You know, we know what happens.
So Man of Steel. So what's your experience with this movie? I mean, where were you when you first saw it? What were your initial thoughts?
I saw it. I was like, this movie is crazy. It was the best live action version of Dragon Ball Z that we'll probably get.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So it was I took notes, but it was a good movie. Henry Cavill, I want him to play Superman a lot more, especially now that he's getting away from the emo Superman. I want him to like you know how there's certain Brie Larson was like, I don't want to smile. There's certain characters that need to smile. Like I want to see Captain America smile, you know, sometimes. I want to see Superman, you know, smile as he's saving a cat out of a tree to hand to a little kid, scruff his hair up a little bit. Get out of here, Billy. You know, something like that. I don't want to see this emo-ish like look. I don't want it. I want Henry Cavill to have fun with it because he is a fan. He, you know, like the story of him when he was almost missed the call because he was playing Warcraft or something.
I heard about that actually. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I mean, he's a Witcher. It's like, come on, let's keep him. You're especially if you have somebody like The Rock and you got Shazam and Aquaman. You're gonna want that guy to represent you as Superman because almost anybody else is gonna look like, oh, Superman's about to die. Black Adam is about to kill him because, you know, The Rock is, you know, is a character. It's like taking Eisenberg as Lex Luthor against Superman.
Oh God! Oh, we'll get to that. We might have to just do a completely different, separate episode on BVS because, God damn, I actually recently watched BVS after the Justice League Snyder Cut. I don't know. I have a lot to say about that movie, but yeah. Well, I'm glad you brought up the Henry Cavill thing because, what's the status of that? I don't even know if he's gonna play him anymore. It seems like he's done. I think the studio wants to move on and reboot it. I know JJ Abrams is doing has something to do with it. Which
okay, so they're gonna. Last I heard, he was doing an interview with somebody. He said his cape is still in the closet, so he still wants to play it. Everybody wants him to play it. I really want him to play, continue to be Superman. Um, Now, J.J. Abrams and Michael B. Jordan are gonna do uh, a black Superman, or
Is
I think
Michael B.
it's
Jordan
Val.
confirmed?
Yeah,
Is he confirmed?
I
Michael B.
believe
Jordan?
so. I don't know if he's gonna play the character or produce it, but as long as they don't say this is Clark Kent, Black Clark Kent Superman, okay, Val Zod, the other whatever, who
That's
cool,
where
cool.
I'm at. That's where I'm at. Like, well, there is a black version of Superman in the comics. He's
There's
a different
two.
character. So I
There's two different Superman, but that's the problem with this is like with Superman, Supergirl, and you want to bring in another. Like we kind of don't need a whole family of Kryptonians because they're stupidly overpowered as it is.
right. But also on top of that, we really haven't gotten like the Clark Kent version right yet.
No,
Because I
no.
think I don't know. I want to see Henry Cavill come back. I think we're gonna get into Man of Steel, but I think these movies kind of failed him. I think he's actually a very charismatic actor. I mean, did you ever watch The Man from U.N.C.L.E.?
Yeah.
He's charismatic as hell in that movie. And you're right. Like to what you were saying before, like instead we got this pouty emo version of Superman, and I want to see like the bright, colorful, like hopeful version of Clark. And
Yeah.
I think Henry Cavill can play that. I just think we need to get somebody other than Zack Snyder. I think Zack Snyder's done. Although there is this restore the universe, the Snyderverse, I guess, movement, but that's not going to go anywhere. But I'll just get a different director and a different group of writers. And look, I mean, he's still in great shape. He's still the right age. I just want to see a good like Superman movie with him in it. I really do.
Yeah.
But I think
he has too much potential and the look and everything for it to go to waste, but I don't know. It's the way the movie was written. Like took the notes on who wrote this one compared to like some of the other ones. And I wish Nolan would kind of help with the scripts for the rest of the movies because he would at least have it pretty tight.
This was David S. Goyer who actually,
and Nolan helped.
I think Nolan helped. I think he helped come up with the story, but I don't know if he actually like wrote the script or helped write the script. But
yeah,
because David S. Goyer, well, he's kind of interesting.
Hit or miss.
Because I think he kind of gets way too much credit for the good stuff, and I don't know. Like he did do Batman Begins, but I think Nolan and Jonathan Nolan, his brother, I think they kind of helped too. So, and I know he didn't he direct like Blade Trinity.
He helped co-write Blade.
He's done some stinkers.
Yeah. And the Blade was good except for when they started putting too much CGI in it. Like when it was just small jumps and stuff like that, a little bit of CGI, it was fantastic. Like the Matrix. They kept it low, and then the second one, like if you watch the second one where they're having the fight with the wall of lights behind them, before they cut on the lights, just watch Wesley Snipes just not even unsheathing his sword, just giving them work. He's playing with them. They're playing tiddlywinks and he's playing 4D chess.
Well, it's funny that we mentioned David Goyer because it's this movie. Okay, I think this Man of Steel kind of came out at a weird time because everybody was still riding high off of the Dark Knight trilogy, and those movies are grounded and more serious, a little bit darker. And I think Warner Brothers was like, let's Nolanize or let's make Man of Steel. Let's do the equivalent of that, but with Superman. Which doesn't really work for Superman, like we discussed. Like he's very hopeful and like you said, we want him to crack a smile. And but also too, it's kind of interesting to me because I think if this movie, I think they started filming it in like 2011, 2012, and I think had it because the Avengers is 2012. So I wonder if this like was in production a little later, maybe after the Avengers. I wonder if they would have lightened the tone a little bit.
Maybe. And that's the thing is that like not everybody can benefit from a Batman makeover. You know, and I know they're talking about tones, but in the comic books, you have Superman and Batman and all these characters together, and their tones work together. You know, it's not like everybody has to have that dark hardcore tone. It's, you know, like Superman and Batman in the comic books, they have its own tone when they're doing World's Finest. You know,
Right.
that's what you want. You want Superman to be the opposite of Batman. Batman is more, you know, I want it this way, and Superman's like, hey man, let's calm down. Let's, you know, I'm gonna go over here and save this woman falling off a bridge real quick, and then I'm gonna come back. Here's some ice cream along the way. You know.
Well, that's a big reason why BVS didn't really work.
No.
But before we really get into it, like I do want to mention, I remember being so excited for this movie, and I just watched the trailer before we started. That trailer for the Man of Steel trailer, it is still one of the best trailers I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I mean, I was so fucking excited for this. I mean, the new Superman theme that Hans Zimmer did, and then just like, I don't know, the voiceover with Russell Crowe as Jor-El. I mean, oh my God.
The way he puts his hand down on the ground,
yes,
down on the ground in the rock.
Also, I don't know, like the way like the trailer made it seem kind of like Terrence Malick-y, just like really beautiful shots and stuff. And
yeah.
I mean, it ended up being more Michael Bay than Terrence Malick, but that trailer, I just watched it, and like I haven't seen the movie last night, and it got me fucking pumped. And the end result was just like, it was a disappointment. I mean, I took my parents to see this too. Oh my God. So my parents, they're in their 60s. So they grew up with the Richard Donner. What's that actor's name?
Christopher Reeves.
So you can imagine that movie and then watching this, where Metropolis is basically, it's like 500 9/11s. Like, like, and all these like punches and effects. And I'm sure, I mean, they were probably like so dramatized watching this.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure your parents were still wondering where the hell's this spit curl.
Yeah, probably. I mean, like, yeah. I think this is a weird movie, because it's like, if you grew up with like, if you grew up with that Christopher Reeve movie, I think you'll hate this. Yeah. Like,
I mean, and I get that you can do different takes on a character, but it was like, as an introduction, it's those basics, you know, like, all right. So like for me, like if we just going into the movie,
let's go into
the whole Krypton scene was amazing. It was like, what did I say? It was like Avatar meets the Matrix a little bit, and it was just wild, you know, because you had the pods for the Matrix, and you had like Jor-El riding like this Avatar style dragon and stuff. I was like, okay, I want to see. I don't want to put this out there because I don't want Warner Brothers to be like, well, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Let's make a prequel to Man of Steel, where like as a show that they
did
tried.
That. It was called Krypton. I haven't
watched
it.
It was. I watched the first episode, and the way the first episode ended, it was like some. I don't know. I was just like, I'm not feeling it, you know. And then Adam Strange showed up at the last second to like. I guess he's one of those cosmic guys who can go through time and stuff. I forgot his backstory. You know, he's kind of like some Marvel characters are like, oh, look, this movie's out. I don't care. I'm not going to see that.
The stuff on Krypton, I actually did like the new look of Krypton, because like the Richard Donner movie, it's almost like an ice world. It's very like white and cold, and
you don't really get to see much of it though.
No, you don't. Here's my thing. The Codex. What do we think about that plot point? I kind of don't like it. Like,
I mean, I get that they're trying to, you know, have natural births or whatever, but at the same time, one of the things that makes you wonder about like Superman and humans and stuff like that is how were they compatible? Like, what if he had like pincers on his dick or something like that? Or like, there's lots of other things that you kind of wonder, you know? So like, you know, he's going to get to Earth and then just die because he can't find anybody to handle his skeet. It's kind of.
I think the Codex thing, I don't know. I guess their explanation for it in this movie was, I guess, the population like got too out of control. So then they started like, I guess, doing like, I guess creating humans or whatever, like
like clones and stuff.
And then I guess the Codex is what that kind of tells everybody what they are. Like, you're going to be you're going to be a soldier. You're going to be like, I don't know.
It's the MacGuffin,
a leader, whatever. I don't know. I think the whole Codex thing just kind of complicates. If you watch Superman 2, it's like they escape from the Phantom Zone and then they just march up to the White House and try to take over the world. It's so simple.
They just want to rule.
They just want to rule. And then this one, it's just like, well, we have to, I need to get the Codex to repopulate Metropolis. And it's like, well, you could just like, fuck.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, do you just want to live here? I mean, there's, hey,
that's
look,
another thing which we'll get into. Like, they want to terraform Earth, but it's like, okay, but like on Earth, you have like powers.
Yeah.
So by terraforming it, you're gonna make it more like Krypton, and you won't have the powers and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, we're not making dragon things and stuff. Let's, I
don't think you really need to terraform. I think you could just like probably kill everybody and then just rule like and be gods. Like, you could fly and do all this stuff and have strength. I don't know. Yeah. No, I like the first the opening scenes. I liked. What else you got for your notes?
All right, so I went from that to Kansas growing up when he was a kid and everything, which me and my buddy who did the podcast, we used to talk like on the mess deck and everything like that. And like with X-Men movies, like nowadays, if you have a kid who has, look, mom, I can shoot lasers out of my eyes. Yo, I'm getting this dude a costume. I'm training like the X-Men, It's not going to be this, we got to keep it secret. Yeah, we're going to keep it secret. That's why we're giving you a suit with a mask or something. Okay.
I kind of like the angle they took with this though. So there's a couple of things. So I kind of like in this movie that Clark is kind of wrestling with like, okay, do I, because obviously he's like a drifter and he does kind of help people along the way, but he doesn't want his identity to be shown or, whatever. He doesn't want the world to know, so he kind of does it in secret. And when he does help people, he immediately like just ditches. But I kind of like I don't know. I kind of like the idea of him like kind of wrestling, with like, I don't know, like, are people ready for this? Like, should I, show myself? And I do kind of like I do like Kevin Costner in this movie. I do like how he's just like, you got to keep that side of yourself secret. People like, how are people going to react? I did kind of like the kind of grounded, like, okay, how would the world react if something like this really happened? I did kind of like that angle that they took.
Yeah.
But you're saying that if you're Pa Kent, you're like, oh, we're gonna get you a suit. So you disagree with Pa Kent?
Look. I mean, I'm just saying, like, you gotta. Not let everybody know. I mean, you can still do that, but at the same time, more of a like country boy aspect of it is like, you got to help people. You should do the right thing, like how the Donner films kind of like, make him seem more of a farm boy. You could almost see him with like a big belt buckle and some cowboy boots or something like that. Like, we got to go over there and help the Johnsons with their cattle because the fence broke, And he kind of just seems like, nah, they got it. They cool, whatever. I don't know. It's just the way it came off. It was very like going back to emo in a way.
So you basically wanted to make him have more of a personality. Well, I agree with that. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I gotta say, like the Donner movies, like I rewatched. Well, so I rewatched 1 and 2. And I tried to rewatch 3. 3's weird. It was Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
I didn't finish it. That's a bizarre movie. Like, Richard Pryor's in that movie more than like Christopher Reeve. And it's like this weird subplot where he's like trying to like swindle money from like a chip company. That's a bizarre movie, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
But, But I have a new appreciation for those movies because there's never been a Superman movie that I've like flat out just loved. But and I like the first Donner movie, but the ending with when he's going around the world and like turning back time, that's I've always hated that.
That really did a lot more damage to comic book fans who are like, that's not how he works, you know. And I don't know, like I've gotten into the debates online with people because they're like, see, he's faster than the Flash. He can't really do that for one, and for two, he's flying. Flash runs, and if it was a foot race, they take that as gospels, and it's like it's just a movie, dude. Calm down.
But I hate that scene because really it's just like, okay, well, the stakes don't matter. I can just reverse time. I'm like, okay, well, that's
yeah.
But my point is, like, I do have a new appreciation for the Donner movies, even though they are kind of cheesy. Like, I mean, Christopher Reeve, like nobody will ever top him as Superman. I'm convinced.
No,
I mean, like he's just so likable and charming and like. Yeah, I mean, and also another thing about this movie that's missing, which I'm kind of conflicted about. On one hand, I kind of like the angle of Lois actually like doing a story, actually trying to find out who this alien, this Superman is that helped her.
Yeah.
Spaceship. And I kind of like that angle. I actually kind of wish they spent more time with that. I thought that was interesting. They do like a kind of like a quick montage where she's like kind of going around to all the people that knew him and stuff like that. So that's a cool angle.
I mean, she did that. I know it's a movie and everything like that, but it seemed like they wrapped that little bit up pretty quick. Like,
well, that's what I'm saying. I wish they spent more time on it. I guess Perry White suspends her for 2 weeks. So I guess in the 2 weeks, I guess she was just like going to all these people. But But I kind of like that. Like she's kind of doing an investigation. But at the same time, I do kind of miss. Because like those first couple of movies, like the Clark and Lois dynamic was really fun, and I like how Clark is like this nerd, like he's such a dork around her, but he's playing that up because he has to like hide who he really is, and he doesn't want anybody to like think that he could be Superman. So and then I don't know, that whole dynamic is just kind of, I don't know, I kind of miss it here. Obviously they went a different route. She immediately knows who he is right off the bat. But I don't know, it's something different. I mean, that's the thing. Like this movie does kind of, I will give it props. It is unique. I mean, it does do its kind of own thing.
Yeah. And rewatching it again, I will say it is better than it was a little bit better. I give it a little bit more of a positive than I first watched it, because first watch I was like, and then the movies after that I was like, ooh.
So here's my thing with this movie. Because I've always been kind of torn on this movie. I went back and forth. I mean, I left the theater and I was like, oh God, I liked it. Do you ever like trick yourself into liking something because you're so excited?
That's how I felt about Justice League, the 2017 release. I was like, oh my God, that was wild. And then the more I sat there and thought about it, I was like, ugh, what was that? Like that's start like certain movies where you watch them, you kind of do like cinema sins and like, wait a minute, but why would you, that makes no sense now that I'm sitting there thinking about it, but yeah.
I was kind of with the movie for the first half of it. And I was like, so like halfway through, I'm like, you know what? Like this actually is not that bad. And it's framed exactly like Batman Begins, where it's like kind of going back and forth to like when he was little and then like when he was a young adult and, his life along the way. And I don't know. I thought it was a different approach. I like how he's kind of like, I don't know if I should be Superman or not. Like, is the world ready for me? And the whole Lois thing, like doing kind of an investigation. I'm like, this is like, I don't know if everything works for me, but it's like, like this is different. And I'm like, I'm kind of with it. But I think after that, it just turns into like destruction porn. Like, good God.
Dragon Ball is like any episode of Dragon Ball. Oh no, Frieza's attacking. Oh no, Vegeta. It's like, just stop, Like the whole,
it is almost comical how much destruction there is. Like, holy shit.
Yeah. And it's not even, and the way they solved it, like on the other movies, is like, really, y'all couldn't think of a better angle. It's like, what do y'all got, like a whole bunch of monkeys and typewriters trying to write the script?
Well, I think in the early movies, I could be wrong, but I think in the second movie, I think he actually like kind of like they moved the fighting into like a less populated area.
Yeah, it was a news article in the background. Oh no, yes, it's the business district, but everybody's gone home. So everybody's like, that's supposed to like negate all the destruction. I mean, but
I don't know. They're fine. Well, you know what I was thinking too? Like, okay, so late 70s, early 80s, like special effects are still kind of shitty. Like the flying, they're still pretty much on ropes. So you watch it now, like it's kind of funny. But I almost feel like the technology now is almost a detriment to the movie because, and if we're being honest, like that probably would be like if two like gods, I mean, because they're gods essentially. If they were fighting in the city, that's what would happen. But like, I don't know. That's I don't know. Like, I wish they like found some way to like. I think if they like moved the fighting to like a different area or something, I don't know. Like, like I'm pretty sure there's plenty of open spaces. It probably would have been like less exciting for those that like the destruction porn, but still, it's one of those things where this is a hero movie, you know, not even like a sci-fi alien type of Independence Day where you're expected to see some destruction. This is like a guy who's trying to save everyone versus a guy who's trying to destroy everyone in a city where everything is wet tissue paper to them. Oh my God. I mean, it's ridiculous. I think they should have just, they need to like dial it back. Cause I don't know. Like there's a Superman movie needs to be fun. And a Superman movie should not remind you of 9/11.
My PTSD kicked in through the third act. Like, oh no.
What's crazy is like we'll get into like unintentional funny moments, but I'll go ahead and say one. I guess Jenny Olsen in this movie, like the brunette that's like I guess working at the Daily Planet. She's like, oh my God, he's a hero, and it's just like the city's leveled. Like, he saved us. Like he didn't really.
You know, you all are homeless or unemployed now.
Well, that's the thing with this movie. You can go back to the Donner movie, and it's like, okay, like it's a little cheesy, a little dated. I actually think the Donner movie, correct me if I'm wrong, I think there is a scene where he rescues a kitten from a tree. I'm pretty sure there is. Yeah. I almost feel like you needed more of that. I don't know. I think you needed more like one-on-one, like him helping people. Because I think there's a montage in like the first movie where it's like, it spends a night where he's just going around and like, stopping crimes and helping people. I don't know. You needed that human connection. And it's just like, I don't know. This movie, like, I don't know. I felt like empty. Like, I don't know. I just didn't really feel anything.
Yeah. It was kind of like when you're hungry and you want to eat something and you just grab a bag of chips and just like, I feel full-ish, but not complete or something. It's like there's definitely something wrong to this feeling.
Yes, that's actually a great analogy. What's okay? A couple other things. I find it very weird. Like there comes a point where I think Lois is just like kind of pointless in this movie. Why when Zod shows up, because that's the whole thing. Hey, we come with us, or there'll be consequences. He does that thing over the TV station thing. Yeah, and then it's like, so the military hands over Superman, and then they're like, oh, we want Lois Lane too, and you're like, why? That was so weird. Like, there's no reason why they need her.
I mean, she could have been like just a normal interpreter or something.
The script needs her so she can like talk to the hologram and save them. That's really what it is.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Which
can we talk about the hologram in this movie? The Russell Crowe hologram? Like, uh,
rest in peace, Jarrell.
Jarrell, yeah. Well, so the first movie, it's like, okay, it's like this hologram kind of tells them what's up, and that's about it, and that's fine. But this hologram is like walking around with him and is like closing doors,
showing her what to shoot,
like killing
turn left, and yeah.
What the hell? It's just like too much. I didn't care for the Jarrell hologram.
Is this? I mean, this is the best. I mean, hell, I wish and all these other ones had better programming. Like, so I that whole scene, even on the ship, he should have been more powerful to get out of there by himself.
Yeah, well, that's weird too.
Because the atmosphere on the ship was different. He was kind of weak.
He loses his powers, and then all of a sudden he's like fine again. That was, I don't know, that was weird. Because he falls down and he's like,
yeah, but then again, it's Superman. He absorbs solar energy, so it's like he should still have enough of a juice. I mean, unless he's got like his insides are not even Duracell or something energized, or he's got like the dollar store solar panels or some shit. It just was like, oh, because the plot needs her to be on the ship and everything. Cool, got it.
Another thing.
Like at the end.
I was gonna say another thing I wrote down. I don't think I've ever seen so much product placement in a movie. Good God.
Yeah, I wrote that down too.
We have fucking IHOP. IHOP it might as well get third billing. I mean, like they're the star of the movie. We got IHOP. We got 7-Eleven. Sears.
I'm pretty sure that's why a lot of companies didn't want to. Mm-hmm. There's some other ones I can't remember, but it was still like I'm pretty sure there was a lot of companies who were like, "Yeah, we're not going to sponsor the next movie because y'all just ran through a 7-Eleven like it was nothing."
Well, I believe you because I don't think 7-Eleven showed up in BVS or Sears or IHOP. Sears is a weird one
shit now.
Is Sears even around anymore?
You might have one of them like a Kmart. It's like one or two of them in a Rust Belt, just still barely hanging on.
I bet Sears was like, okay, like we've seen some. It's getting bad. Okay, our last hope is to be in this Superman movie and hope our sales get up.
I mean, the Superman movie. How can it fail?
Anything else to add? Any other notes you have?
Oh yeah. Like it was cool to see the Coast Guard in there, and then
oh my God, I wrote something down. It was so funny. It was like forget them. They're dead or something like that. Because he's on the ship and they're like, hey, are there any survivors? And the Coast Guard's like, oh no, forget them, they're dead. And I laughed my ass off. Yeah.
And I was just like, wait, you're not even gonna do like a lap or anything? Again,
I'm like,
you got some binoculars?
I'm like, it sounds like the Coast Guard. Fuck you guys.
Mm-hmm. We're almost at bingo. We got to get out of here. One thing that they could have did, and I thought they were going to do, but they didn't do in this movie, was with the oil tanker scene, and it was awesome. He saved the day, and shirtless Henry Cavill. I mean, he gives anybody, male or female, a wet spot. Kind of like Ryan Reynolds. But if you notice, when he fell in the water, I thought they were going to hint at Aquaman. Instead of like a
funny? I remember after the movie came out, everybody was like, "Oh, those whales, that was Aquaman. Aquaman told those whales to like make sure that Clark was okay." I'm like, okay. I have a theory. I don't know how much you believe this. I kind of feel, and I have no evidence to back this up, but like I said, when was this in production? Like 2011, like right before Avengers came out. I don't think this meant to be part of a larger thing. I think this was going to be like a standalone like universe. I think only after the Avengers was so popular, I think that's when they decided to make it a DCEU thing. personally.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I think and that's the thing is, for me, if they really want to do it, they should do like instead of having solos, maybe do like now that you have these characters, the ones that you want to keep, do like a Brave and the Bold style buddy styles, like, oh look, Cyborg and Flash are over here doing this mission together. Wonder Woman is over here doing this with Batman, giggity. You know, uh, you know, just like you can, without having everybody get their own individuals, you can kind of like have them, hey man, I need you to help with this. Yeah, cool. Even because that's what the problem with the Avengers was. Like after the first Avengers, it's kind of hard to watch, figure out, hey, why isn't the rest of the Avengers helping you with these helicarriers that are about to destroy the city or whatever?
that is such a good point. Although I will say, they have kind of started doing it. Because I remember like Thor Ragnarok, you had the Hulk show up, and that was kind of like a buddy thing too. So
yeah,
I think they kind of realized like, okay, well, we have to put like a different character in here. So
yeah, I mean they should. I mean, because it's like if you want them to be in this world or create it, that's one of the problems why when they both said, hey, look, Marvel said we're gonna make movies and the TV be together, and DC said our movies and our TV is separate. I was like, I like both ideas because Marvel said we're going full tilt with the whole shared universe. So I just wish they would have really committed to the bit and like do something like you have like a quick shadow over it in like Daredevil. What was that? Oh, that was just Hulk. He going to fight somebody. Oh, cool. Those this instead of like, oh, the incident in New York and the big green guy. It's like commit to the bit fully.
Well, they pretty much have committed to it because obviously Daredevil showed up in No Way Home, and then
best part.
And I haven't watched Hawkeye, but I do know Kingpin shows up.
Yeah.
So I'm glad. Well, that's the thing though. Like Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio, they're great in those roles. So it's like, why, if it ain't broke, like don't fix it. You know what I mean? So yeah. I do kind of like that. So I like how they're bringing the Netflix shows into the mix, and then obviously you have like the Disney Plus shows; those are interconnected. So I don't know. I like that they are bringing the shows into it.
Yeah, and I get DC and their multiverse. That's what they do. Since final like Identity Crisis and all these other crises they have. I get it. It's just now how are you going to kind of merge them? Because if it's separate, it's kind of okay, but it gets old. Of like, we got 18 different Batman running around.
Well, that's a weird thing now. It's like, I mean, they haven't admitted this, but they've pretty much given up on the shared universe. Yeah. We have Robert Pattinson. It's so weird now. Like Joker, I'm assuming Joker is its own thing. I'm assuming that if this new Batman, if they do it, it would probably be a different Joker. I don't know.
I have a theory. If you watch the trailers, when you see early in the beginning when the garage door, the Arkham door rises up, and you see the guy in the suit with the collar, part of me is like that might be Riddler, but that might be a Joker just trying to fuck with Batman. I made a meme I put it online. It was like whoever that was asking him if he I've been trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty.
Oh yeah, I think I saw that. That was good. All right, so you got any other notes?
Let's see. What was funny? Speaking of funny things, did you notice that they Home Alone the teacher? When he had his he had his mental breakdown. And he ran into the closet and he hit the laser beam to the doorknob and she touched it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I actually kind of like that touch. I thought that was something that was kind of cool, like him kind of adjusting to Earth and like him kind of growing up and him kind of like adjusting to.
I like that
and stuff.
Except for towards the end when he's fighting Zod and he's trying to teach. He's kind of like inadvertently telling him how to get over the sounds and stuff. I was like, dude, you have the advantage. You need to take it.
Oh yeah, hearing
everything. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, that was kind of dumb. Speaking of like the school, I gotta say, the kid who picks on him, the redheaded kid, that is the ugliest kid I've ever seen. I think in a movie ever. But what kills me, the dialogue is so shitty. Like the bus scene, he's like, "Hey, Dick Splash.
Uh-huh.
Hey, Dick Splash." I'm like, who says Dick Splash?
I don't know. Were you watching South Park or something? Like this is really random ass. I mean, I don't know. At first, when I first watched it, I was like, he saves the bus and he's sitting there, like at the back of the bus. I was like, why don't you just get in a seat and just look back? Like, I don't know. He might just swam off or something. That would have been a perfect cover. But then he went back and saved the bully. And I was like, oh, okay. Now you really can't explain it. Like, you can't just, I don't know what happened.
That was a funny scene. And like, Ma Kent's basically like, oh, well, boys will be boys. And that bitch is like, no, there's something wrong with him. He lifted the bus.
Man, if that kid, I'd been like, yo, guess, hey, I just made you a 3-layer cake as a thank you. You know, that's the type of thing I was expecting. Like with going back to X-Men or something like that. Like, oh my God, you saved everybody, you know, and then people are like, I don't know if I trust him. What? Word? Like that's you don't want to trust him, even though he just saved a whole bunch of kids and a teacher. I mean, a bus driver. Really?
Oh, it's like the military. It's like only after, you know, that whole fight are they like, he's on our side. I'm like, well, no, he's been trying to fight those people.
Yeah, I mean, I did like how the dude was like pulled out his knife and she pulled out her knife. I'd be like, damn, man, I was trying to bluff you.
Okay, so so we're gonna get into trivia, but I'll say it right now. That lady, that like his Zod's like, I guess
Flora or whatever.
Yeah. That was supposed to be Gal Gadot.
What?
Yeah, but
she
was pregnant, so she had to drop out, and then she became Wonder Woman. So it really worked out for her.
I guess they're bringing her back for Flash, I guess, in some way.
Zora or whatever.
Yeah, Theora.
Okay, I don't know what her name is, but I just thought that was interesting because, like, yeah, we could have been Gal Gadot, and we wouldn't have gotten her as Wonder Woman, which I actually like. I like her as Wonder Woman. I think she's a good Wonder Woman.
She is. It's just that
1984 wasn't great, but yeah. Well, there's a couple. That script wasn't nearly as good. There's a couple of rough moments in that movie.
It's one of those things where you need somebody to go over it and look at it and go, "Give me the red pen. Give me that red pen."
Fucking script would have been red pen. That movie, like, just a dumb idea. Like, oh, let's do wishes. What?
Out of everything we can do in Wonder Woman's mythology and everything, I mean, I don't know. It's just DC needs somebody to just Kevin Feige this shit.
Yeah. I don't know. At this point, it's so fucked. Not to say that all their movies are bad. I mean, the new Suicide Squad was great.
Yep.
Joker. I didn't think Joker was bad. I mean, it's not a movie I'd rewatch again, but I don't know. Aquaman was fine. I mean, they've had some decent.
Shazam was fine.
I like Shazam. Shazam was actually really good. I don't know. At this point, though, it's just not a cohesive narrative, and that's fine. I mean, I think it blew up, and that's fine. And I think at this point, they're just like, we're gonna do whatever.
I mean, it's still fixable. It's just they're gonna have to do a lot of work.
It's not fixable. Well, I don't know. I mean, this Flashpoint movie. I mean, it will probably, that would be the opportunity to like set it right. But I do think.
So what you got for trivia?
Well, I was gonna say, I think we should hit a couple points because this, like I said, this movie had several like controversial moments.
Mm-hmm.
I think the big point of conversation is Superman killing Zod. What do you think about that?
I mean, they left him no other out for it. I guess maybe if he would have covered his eyes or just flew up in the air. I mean, you can fly up with a tanker, but you can't carry another person. It's like you couldn't like maybe grab him by the chin and point him up. Hey, get the hell out of here. it just seemed like a waste of a very good villain that could rival Superman. You know, that's one of the problems with Superman is he's so invulnerable, but you got to have somebody that's equally as unstoppable. And that's one of the reasons why everybody's like Dark Side, but people don't realize Dark Side is one of those characters that even when Superman really lets go, he's gonna need some help to fight Dark Side. You know.
Well, with the original plan is they were gonna throw Zod back into the Phantom Zone or whatever. Like they weren't gonna kill him off at first. But everybody was really bent out of shape when he killed him. My whole thing is and I think the Nolan movies do this excellently. Like they kind of establish like Batman's code of ethics and stuff, and like they make a big point in Batman Begins that he does not kill. But they never really they never really set that up with Man of Steel, like Superman. No. I guess that's the thing. That's the thing in the comics, right? Like Superman has a no-kill role too.
Yeah, but it's kind of last resort type of way. I think it's they've retconned things so many times. It's kind of annoying. But I know for Batman, I know when he first came out, he was killing people, you know, shooting people in coffins and hanging up by a bat helicopter thing and stuff, which I guess one of the smart writers was like, yeah, we can't be doing this. If
that was like early.
Like, yeah, the 40s and stuff like that. And then they retconned it. And every once in a while, there's a situation where it's like, did he just kill him? And they're like, no, he can't. He's arrested, you know. And there's that, like, some characters, like going back to smiling, some characters smile, some characters can kill, some can't, you know. I'd rather see, like, because most people don't get it. Batman is one of those characters who is optimistic. When your dad's a famous doctor, surgeon, and he has a do no harm, no kill type of oath, and he's your idol, he's gonna take that to heart, you know. That's why, and you look at the cartoons or whatever, he tries to rehabilitate them. He's like, hey, look, I don't, you know, like when he's trying to bring down Ace and she's like swinging on the swings and she's dying and whatever. And he's like, you're not going to use a device on me. No. And he tosses it and he talks her down, you know. Sometimes, right. Like in the comic books, Harvey Dent had this thing where he was going to reveal Batman's identity unless he stopped him from going to this place so he can get his duality taken away. And Batman was like, I'm not doing it. I'm going to save you. You know, he's like, and which is funny because he's like, people are like, show Batman beating down somebody. And he's like, now talk. Man, look, if I'm a criminal, a low level dude, and even if I'm still in the TV and Batman jumps down, hey man, I'm sorry. Here's $10. I'm gone. You know, I'm not trying to fight him. I already seen the track record.
Yeah, my whole thing is that was a weird scene at the end, though. It's like he's like upset that he had to kill him, but they never really upset. They just didn't do a good job establishing like his no kill policy.
Yeah,
like you have to set these things up for that scene to be like, because I think what they were going for was like, oh shit, like he feels bad that he had to do that. He had no options. But
yeah, but he just, you have to next scene he was like, oh, cool, whatever.
You have to set that up though. Another controversial scene was letting Pa Kent die. What do you think about that?
I wrote that down. That was one of those scenes where somebody who, like, I lost my dad. If I had the power to just zip right over there, I would have done it. Forget everybody else who I just saved to get them to safety. No. You know, they should have did it something whereas as he's getting the people and as he's turning around, there's like no chance of him getting to him on time. You know, like it's like right here on his face. And as he blinks, it's right, he's done. You know, there's not this whole, no, son, I'm going to raise my hand for a few seconds and which you could have had me safe. Come on, man. Really? You know?
Well, that's what I kind of like about the original film, because I think Pa Kent has like a heart attack and it's kind of like, okay, no matter how strong I am, I can't save everybody. Like I couldn't have foreseen that he had a heart attack.
Yeah,
So
it was just like he just dropped.
That to me was like a little. I think that was handled better in the original. I mean, I get what they were going for. Like, okay, like the world's not ready for you yet, but it's like, I don't know. I think everybody would do what you did. Like would want to do is like if I had the chance to save them, I fucking would. I wouldn't care if anyone knew my name or whatever.
Yeah, you could be a camera on me. I'd be like, yo, no, I ran. Your camera just glitched, or whatever. I would. There's another way. I think that's just I just didn't like it. It was like, no, son, just stay there. Just watch me die. What? No, man. If I can fly, run, or whatever over there to get you, I'm getting you.
Also, it's the damn dog's fault. He went after the fucking dog. Just leave the dog.
Have we not heard about many stories about family members going back for the dog and the dog's already outside looking at everything? Like, what took y'all so long?
And I think the dog actually lives. That's the fucked up thing about all this. The dog is sitting inside the car, and then he gets stuck, and then the dog just like runs out.
Yeah.
Oh, that scene made me mad.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what? Why? Like, it's just one of those things where they should have thought about it instead of going first round drafts. Bro, check this out. He dies and he says, no, son, don't. That's deep. Shut up. That's not deep.
All right, I have some reviews I'm going to read. I have a good review, a mixed review, and a bad review. Tell me what you think. We have Total Film gave this an 80. A bracing attempt to bring the legend back into contention that successfully separates itself from other super movies, but misses some of their warmth and charm. But given the craft and class, this could be the start of something special. Very ironic review because it really wasn't the start of anything special.
No, it was downslide to further mediocrity. It was.
This review is pretty spot on, even though it's a very positive view, and I'm more mixed on it. It does separate itself from other Superman movies. It's very different. But yeah, like this review said, it doesn't have the warmth and charm of the other movies.
No, even Superman Returns had some type of hope and charm and a better Lex Luthor.
I was hoping we would mention Superman Returns, like real quick. I mean, that could be a future episode, honestly. What are your thoughts on that? I haven't seen that movie in like 15 years, probably.
Going back to it, I can't remember the dude's name. He played a good Lex Luthor. The story, like him coming back to Earth, and they've all kind of like, meh, super who, It was an interesting take on it, and then all of this just for Kryptonite Island. Womp womp.
You know what my thing is with these movies? It's like, I don't know. I feel like how many Superman movies have we had? 6, 7. It's like the only villains we've done are Lex Luthor and Zod. Can we? Yeah. I wish this movie had like a different villain, like maybe Brainiac or something.
And see, this is the problem I have with like Batman, where it's like everyone's like, "Oh no, we need another Joker. Let's bring back, Leto in there." No. Let's give Joker a time to let's miss him so we wonder what he's doing. Let's get like some other villains in there. Penguin, Two-Face, Calendar Man. I don't know, Condiment King, Clock King. I don't care. Just let's get off of Joker for a little bit. Even in the games, even when he wasn't supposed to be in there, he's in there.
Yeah, I agree. All right, I got a mixed review. Richard Roper, Chicago Sun-Times, he was split on it, gave it a 50. A bracing attempt to bring the legend back into contention. Actually, I just read this.
What's in that coffee cup?
It's a teacup. All right, well, moving on. I got a bad review. Washington Post. Snyder tries to up the spectacle ante with ever more explosions, crashes, thermal blast, topological realignments, gunfire, and mono fistfights. But the result is a punishing sense of diminishing returns in a genre that has finally reached the point of mayhem-induced exhaustion. Gave it a 37. That's the thing. You could say anything you say about this movie is probably true.
Yeah.
It's one of those movies. Like, I think it has some good parts, but ultimately it is kind of exhausting and just kind of overly CG'd and destruction. I don't know.
Yeah, it was definitely destruction porn, and as we learned, that's Snyder's forte. He likes that sort of stuff. I don't know. It's very, very accurate.
I want to talk box office, because box office is very interesting to me. Because this movie, I think it did well, but I don't think it was the hit that they wanted, which is why I think
it should have been higher.
It made 668 million worldwide, which it had like a $200 million budget, which it seems, I think all in all, I mean, that's good, but I think they were hoping for like a Dark Knight, like $1 billion hit. And this wasn't it. Which is why I think they panicked. I think the original idea, I want to say I read somewhere that they were going to do a straight up Man of Steel sequel. And I think that's why we got Batman. So I don't know. I thought it was too soon to bring in Batman.
Well, they had to rush it anyway. But the whole thing is they could have that angle that they had for BVS, it could have worked, but they needed a second draft.
Well, my thing with that movie is, so I rewatched it after the Snyder Cut, and I kind of, well, HBO Max only had the extended version.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like 3 hours. So I actually watched it. I kind of get what they're going for, because the whole thing with that movie is like, why is Batman branding people? Why is he like killing people? I think when that movie is like Batman at his like lowest point, he's basically given up. And that's why he's so like fucked up and dark, and he doesn't want to take a chance. He doesn't trust Superman. I think you needed another movie before that to set all that up. Whether it be why maybe the Joker killed Robin or whatever, like fucked him up. Because there's a great line. It's like how long before a good men go bad or something like that. He says something like that to Alfred. But
yeah,
I think we needed another a standalone Batman movie before that movie.
But there should have been a lot more. But that was one of the problems I had with this version of Batman. I don't want to see old weary Batman trying to keep up with a speedster, a demigod, a Amazonian, and a demigod aquafish man. It's like, can you make him? He could be older, he could be a little bit, but give him like 5 years older, not almost in retirement. He's about ready to get his AARP card, and you want him to keep up with these guys? Come on.
I thought it was an interesting approach, which, I mean, that's a whole other podcast, BVS, but I didn't hate the approach. I just think that's the thing with these movies. It's like they don't really set anything up.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, missed opportunity for sure. Now, trivia.
All right.
Now, I got some interesting. Well, first of all, Ben Affleck, speaking of Batman, he was offered the chance to direct it.
To direct BVS or his solo Batman?
No, to direct Man of Steel.
Huh, did not know that.
And he turned it down. I think he was kind of like, he says, a lesson I've learned is to not look at movies based on budget. How much they'll spend on effects or where they will shoot. Story is what's important. So maybe he just didn't like the script. I don't know.
Maybe.
I mean, that's when he had just come off of, like, I think Argo came out 2012. So he was kind of like doing his own thing. But,
and that's why they got Chris Terrio, because he thought he was.
Yeah.
But then again, what they don't realize is Argo is a real story. So all you're doing is changing around little information.
That's true. So Zach Snyder and Chris Terrio can only make stuff based off of already pre-established stuff.
Yeah.
Darren Aronofsky, Tony Scott, Matt Reeves, They were also in contention to direct, which Matt Reeves is doing this new Batman.
Yeah. Yep.
So I guess my question is for you, Zack Snyder, right choice, wrong choice? Would any of these other directors, would you have liked them more?
I think you can have Snyder, but you can't let him run wild. If you're gonna, he needs to like almost like a tag team. You get somebody else to do the story setup, cool. The shots, tags Zach in. You want to do the action, tag Zach in, but kind of like whoa. So let's just bring it back a little bit. You know, he needs a little bit of somebody to rein him in just a little bit because he can go kind of crazy.
I don't know. Out of all of these, I don't know. Darren Aronofsky, no, he makes weird. I mean, I like his movies, but he is no way for Superman. He did like Requiem for a Dream, like absolutely not.
Yeah, no, that's some psychedelic type shit.
I don't know. I think Matt Reeves. I don't know. I mean, hindsight's 2020. It looks like he's knocked it out of the park with the Batman. I mean, we'll find out in like a month, but I don't know. I think he. Well, at that point, I don't think he had done Planet of the Apes yet, so he was still kind of like he had done Cloverfield, so. I don't know what I mean, Zack Snyder kind of did make the most sense back then. Because even though Sucker Punch sucked, but I mean, like, I don't know. Me personally, I had a lot of goodwill towards him still.
Yeah. I mean, and not every director is going to make a smash hit. Even Nolan made some bad ones, or Scorsese. I can't look at their whole. If I looked at their filmography, I can be like, yeah, that one's kind of a shitty one. But, you know, and that's why I hate, not hate, but the Snyder fans annoy me because they're like, he's never made it. Oh, really? Did you see the Owls movie? Did you see that one?
Oh my God, I have the Guardians of Gahul.
Yeah, it's like you didn't see everything. You're caught up in the moment because you see pretty pictures on screen. Let's calm down.
I have not seen the Owl movie. Have you?
I don't think nobody's seen it. I don't think anybody's seen it. That's probably why nobody really knows that he directed it.
That's the ultimate, like, who gives a shit movie. Like,
yeah. That's the one you wake up to after a drunken night of debauchery. Like, what is this?
Sucker Punch is kind of actually very similar to Man of Steel because it's like essentially it's like a bunch of immortal people beating the shit out of each other for like 40 minutes with no consequences.
Yeah, the Sucker Punch was a good idea.
Yes, good idea. Poor execution. I mean, there's like no rules to that world. It's like she's just screaming and like. She gets punched like 100 feet across the room and like doesn't get hurt. It's like, it's very visually, it's kind of cool, but like, yeah, you have to have like rules and stuff.
Yeah. And then it's like his movies are very visually, oh, wow. But that doesn't make it a good movie.
Right. Yeah. You need substance. Now this is interesting. Amy Adams. This is her third time auditioning for Lois Lane. Apparently, Brett Ratner was supposed to do a movie back in the day. Speaking of sex perverts, Superman Returns. What's his name? Bryan Singer. She, I think, was in contention before Kate Bosworth got it. So she finally gets it here. Do you like Lois Lane? Do you like Amy Adams as Lois Lane in this?
It's okay, but she's always just like the MacGuffin, the human MacGuffin to get them to the next scene. It's like, well, how are we going to get them here for this scene? We'll say Lois is there. Why is Lois in the Arctic? Why is the Daily Bugle going to like?
That's actually a good point. I get what they. While I kind of like it's weird because like why is she in the Arctic? Because like this is like a top secret like thing.
Yeah.
So how does she know about? I don't know. Now the chick from Shameless, Emmy Rossum, she was up for it as well. Saoirse Ronan, I don't know if you know who that actress is. She was
not
up
a clue.
Margot Robbie, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, Kristen Bell, Olivia Wilde, Mila Kunis, Jessica Biel. They were all considered to play Lois Lane.
Throw every woman in the butt, every white woman on the bus and see at the wall and see who sticks. That's basically what that was. It's good to see Margot Robbie and Mary Elizabeth get some.
I don't know if I believe the Margot Robbie thing because Wolf of Wall Street hadn't come out yet. She wasn't really a star yet.
she was a Australian star, so it's like
Yo, I kind of
it,
like Emmy Rossum. Have you ever watched Shameless? Like
oh yeah.
she's kind of sassy.
I'm
She's tough and
up until the
sassy.
last episode, to the last season. I was like, me and my wife were there. Other than that, it was I really enjoyed it, but I really wish they would have brought her back.
I don't know. I would not have hated her as Lois Lane. I don't know. What do you think? I don't know. I don't love Amy Adams as Lois. I think she's like kind of too old for the role. She's like
I don't know.
she was like late 30s, 40s when this, I don't know.
I don't. It might be
She's
a
nine
little
years
too
older than Henry
mousy.
Cavill.
I think she might have just been too mousy, like because Lois is kind of like one who like that Superman's about to say something and she's chiming in. It's like, will you stop? Like, I,
Well, to
I
me,
don't
like
know.
Lois is like sassy. She kind of like she doesn't take shit. She kind of has like an attitude. Like Margot Kidder in the other one. Like
Yeah,
she was always just like kind of giving shit to Perry White and like I don't know. I don't know. There's like a like a toughness to her. I
yeah,
think Amy Adams is fine, but I don't know. I kind of like Amy Rossum as Lois, honestly. You know who
yeah.
I think? Okay, so at when this came out, she was like probably too young for the role, but I would not have hated Jennifer Lawrence. I think if you're doing it today, I would not hate Jennifer Lawrence. I don't know how you feel about that.
I don't think she would touch another comic book property for a while
Oh,
after
definitely not.
she.
She fucking hated playing Mystique. um, I don't know. This is interesting too. We had Viggo Mortensen and Daniel Day-Lewis were considered to play General Zod. What do you think of Michael Shannon in this movie? I think he kind of dials it up a little too much sometimes.
He hammed it up, but it was still like he kind of had that maniacalness to him. He didn't have like the old school Donner version where he's like kneel before. Like you're like, man. I mean, should I take a knee? I mean, I don't know. Um, he did ham it up, but there again, I don't know about his physical like he didn't look as menacing to Cavill, which if you're a warrior general, whatever, who's much older than Superman, you should have had like a little bit of this muscle tone.
Also, too, 30 years has gone by and he still looks the same. Like, I don't know.
Well, it's the power of the penis rocket.
Oh yeah, I meant to bring that up. How come every spaceship looks like a fucking dildo? Like,
I don't know.
I Daniel Day-Lewis. There's no way in hell he's ever doing this.
No.
I think Viggo Mortensen. I think he would have like played it more cool.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would have liked Viggo. And I have one more little trivia tidbit. I think this story is funny. I think you might have heard this, but during an interview with a Hollywood Reporter, writer David Goyer spoke about ridiculous script notes and comments he has gotten from producers and studio execs over the years. One was during a writer's meeting with executives while he was working on Man of Steel, where the ending involves Superman utilizing the pod that he arrived in as a child in order to bring down General Zod's ship. The note said, "You have to change that because if Superman uses that pod and it's destroyed while saving the city, how is he ever going to get back home to Krypton?" Goyer
Oh my
said there
God.
was this long pause in the room, and then someone pointed out Krypton blew up. You saw it. You saw 30 minutes of it. That just goes to
It's
show
like,
you
were
how
you
little.
napping?
That just goes to show you like how fucking out of touch and like ultimately like how little shit these studio
Yeah.
execs give.
That's like I wish they would just people who love the art, give them the projects. Like look at some of these cosplayers who nail the look of these characters on a shoestring budget, but then again you want to revamp things and you get weird takes, you know.
That is funny. Like, what the hell? They were literally were not paying attention. All right, I have categories, and then we'll wrap up. What is your best scene? What do you think the best scene of the movie is?
Pretty much my favorite was probably when he's learning to fly. It kind of had that old school feel of there used to be a show called The Greatest American Hero where he's like he got alien technology or alien rays or something like that, and he can fly, but he flies all crazy like whoa, and then like he finally gets it after like one more try, so he's like flying perfectly around. But it was a cool effect. Like you see him like when planes fly low to the water and they got like the mist around them with the jet streams in the water and stuff. That's probably like my favorite scene.
I was gonna say, so I like that scene, but I also like the lead up to it when he's discovering, he's like walking around in the ship and he's like talking to his dad. They do this cool thing where like he's like talking to like Jor-El, and it's like, you know what I'm talking about, where it's like they kind of explain the history of Krypton, and it's like these really cool visuals behind him.
Yeah.
So I like that, and then you see the suit. And then he comes out of that whole like the lead up, and then him flying. I agree. I actually like that scene a lot too. What do you think the worst scene of the movie is?
Man, I don't know. It's like some people will look at it as like low hanging fruit for some of these scenes, but I know the cringe scene with the drone where he takes down the drone. It was like they had a cool dialogue of to get him and the general. Like, you just have to trust me. And which fun fact for you, that drone wasn't $20 million. They lowballed it. It's $40 million.
What?
Yeah.
Damn.
Plus in that time it was probably more expensive. So we're probably looking at like 50 to 60 million.
That's another thing too. Like, like the Richard Donner Superman would not do that. He would not destroy a $40 million satellite.
No.
He was being kind of a dick in that scene.
Yeah, I mean, hell, he put the cap with the flag back on top of the White House and like, gave him a little salute and flew off.
So you're like, so the worst scene for you is when he destroyed the drone?
Well, that, and the chick girl's like, well, he's just hot. Yeah, we all know. We see it. We all got eyes, girl. Calm down.
Fun fact, I think her name is like Carol Ferris in that. Like that, I looked it up on IMDb.
Oh, so she was supposed to be the link to like a Green Lantern.
Yeah, I think, or she's like the sister of Carol Ferris or something. There was supposed to be some kind of link there, but again, I think that was just an Easter egg. I don't think they really had plans to do like a shared universe until after Avengers was so big.
Yeah, and that's another thing they could have done that was an Easter egg, because I don't like change to certain characters. I'm a purist when it comes to things like, hey, look, I want all my black characters to be black, all the white characters to be white, all the male characters to be male, et cetera, et cetera. So having Jenny, it could have been a throwaway line of them just simply going, yeah, I have a twin brother who's going to be a reporter, but he decided to join the army or something, and then that could have been Jimmy Olsen in BVS.
Well, supposedly Jimmy Olsen gets killed in BVS. I guess he's that undercover reporter, which is like, what the fuck? That was a slap in the face.
Yeah.
My worst scene. Oh boy. I don't know. Like the whole second act of the movie. No, I mean, I'm trying to think. What's a really shitty scene? Oh man. I really, honestly, I think I really don't like the town fight. The Smallville fight. I don't know. I just think like it's just, I don't know. I don't like all the product placement, and then I don't know. The actions are nauseating. I don't really love the action in this movie personally. I think it's
another thing I don't like about this film is the weird, not only the lens flares, but the random zooms.
Oh my God, I'm so glad you mentioned that. Yes, the zooms. I wrote that down. Yes. What the fuck? I've never seen that. I think that was the first time I've seen that in a movie. Like, why are you doing that? This isn't The Office. The Office does that. That's a sitcom.
Yeah, it's like, zoom in or zoom out and leave it alone. We don't need to go back and forth. We get it. We see the ship. We're not blind, okay? We're looking at a huge wall in a movie theater with, the lights off, and there's the only thing you can look at. We get it.
Is there like is there a quote you like in this movie? Or are there any that you remember? I actually do have one.
What you got?
I love Russell Crowe, and this was in the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
What if a child dreamed of becoming something other than what society had intended? What if a child aspired to something greater? You will give the people an ideal to strive towards. They will race behind you. They will stumble. They will fall. I gotta say, I really like Russell Crowe in this movie. I think he's got some great lines.
Mm-hmm.
That was a cool line. So that's mine.
Yeah. You'll meet them. They'll meet you in the sun or something. I know what you're talking about.
And that was the voiceover in the trailer. And that trailer, I'm telling you, got me fucking pumped. It was such a good trailer.
Uh-huh. You know what else? Speaking of trailers, and Zach Snyder, I think he's one of who started this. I think he started the pre-trailer before the teaser trailer. Like
Oh, the
I think
teaser for the teaser. I know exactly what you're talking about. He started that shit.
I think he's one of those first people to go, here's a quick snippet of the trailer, then the next one will either come out the next day or the next scene. But just give me the damn teaser.
I know, it's so weird. It's so weird they do that. Any quote for you?
I can't think of anything right now. I don't know. It was a good movie, memorable, but not rememberable.
Okay. This is a great. I can't wait for the next topic. Okay, best unintentional comedic moment. Oh my God, there's so many. We haven't talked about this, and I've been saving it. And this was in the trailer too. In the trailer, it sounded cool, but in the context of the movie, it's like kind of silly. But General Zod is about to he's like arrested. He's about to go up into the Phantom Zone, and he just shouts out, "I will find him! I will find him! I will find him!" I was like, "What the fuck?" It's such a fucking weird. It's just like, why are you yelling like that?
Yeah.
In the trailer, it sounded cool, but he just sounds stupid in the movie.
Yeah, it sounds like he's chewing the scenery at that point.
Oh yeah.
I think the part when they're in Kansas and before that fight, when he was about to do something to the mom, and Superman just comes out of nowhere and just starts punching his eye. You touched my mommy. It's like a little kid who's protecting his mom. It's like, yeah,
I got a great one. So that one's funny. He's basically, he's like, fuck you. But okay, so the one attempt at a joke in this movie falls completely flat, and it's after Metropolis is leveled, and they Lois and Superman embrace, they kiss, and so after they kiss, Lois says, they say it's all downhill after the first kiss, and then Superman says, I'm pretty sure that only counts if you kiss a human. Crickets. That joke was cringe.
Yeah, and that's the problem, is that like DC thinks that the humor is the one thing that they're missing. No, humor is like Batman has humor, the trilogy, but it's dry, sarcastic one line.
Yeah.
It's not you need to have the Marvel quippy jokey, because that was one of the things I did not like about the 2017 Justice League. Let's talk about brunch. Let's stop, man. I don't.
Oh God, yeah. What about brunch? Like, I just don't get it. Like, what the fuck are we doing here?
Yeah. Is this a rom-com or is this a superhero movie? Let's go. What are we doing? It's just stupid.
I think that joke right there, I think that's the most unintentional comedic moment, because the joke didn't land. It's so bad and it sucked so bad. That was unintentionally hilarious to me.
Yeah.
Okay. Best. Who do you think's the best performance in the movie? Russell Crowe for me. I mean, I don't like the whole. I don't like the AI thing. The hologram thing, I think that's stupid, but like every time he's on screen, I don't know, he's pretty good.
I gotta say Cavill. I mean, he's pretty good. It just needed to be more Superman instead of emo man.
I Yeah, I mean, we've said it. I mean, he has the potential to be a great Superman. I think the scripts have just kind of failed him.
Mm-hmm.
And now, worst performance. What do we think the worst performance is?
I had to go with some scene chewing by Michael. Was it
Michael Shannon.
Michael? Yeah, Shannon. I was gonna say
No,
Fred
yeah,
for a
I'm
minute.
kind of with you. I don't really like Michael. I actually love him as an actor. I don't really like him in this movie. I think it's a very weird performance.
Yeah,
And he's no Terrence Stamp. I'll tell you that
no.
from Superman 2. Yeah, he just like that. I will find him. Like he's just, I don't know. He's just hamming it up.
I don't think he knows Zack Snyder knows how to do villains because look at BVS. I mean, Lex Luthor. It's like,
Oh my God. I'm going to say this. I don't think this is a hot take, but that is the biggest miscast, I think, in cinematic history. I really do. He is irritating as fuck in that movie. I don't know what they were thinking. What the fuck? And I'm sorry, like you can blame the studio. That's Zack Snyder.
yeah.
Like
A lot of the things that they try to say is the studio interference. I think it's Snyder. Like some of the things that the directions they were going is him. You know.
Well, ironically enough, okay, so I think Man of Steel and BVS, I think he very much got to make the movies he wanted. Ironically enough, when the studio finally, it's funny to me, I know we kind of had different thoughts on the Snyder Cut, but that is when they decide to step in, is when he actually makes a good movie. I don't know.
Yeah.
That I just, okay, we're pretty much done. Let's rate this. Give me your rating out of 5, and give me your final thoughts.
3.5, maybe a 4, closer to 4 out of 5. 3.5 out of it's close to a 4, but not quite.
I thought you were going to be much lower.
No. It's after rewatching it, it's a good movie. It's just it should have been better. This whole universe does not do any of these characters justice, which, you know, he talks about Pantheon and all this other big buzzwords that he likes to use when he's doing the interviews, but he really doesn't know, you know. And I knew that, like, when he's talking about, like, in my universe, Batman could get it in jail. And it's like, what? Come on, man. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, dude?
Okay, 3.5. That's fair. For me, I'm gonna, you know what, 2 out of 5. I think this. I don't know, this movie. I was kind of digging the first half. They take some bold choices. They don't do the whole. Gone is the whole Lois and Clark dynamic. That was kind of missed. But I did kind of like the setup here. I liked her kind of, you know, she's basically trying to follow the story. She's trying to uncover who Clark is. And I did kind of like, you know, Clark kind of, should I, shouldn't I? Is the world ready for me? The first half, I actually was kind of with the movie. I really was. And then I think, when it turns into destruction porn is when I checked out. I mean, I think it's just, the action is, I don't think the action is very good. I think it's just too much CGI and also I just, from a filming standpoint, like, you mentioned the zoom ins. There's also a lot of shaky cam. It's a nightmare. It's just a headache inducing like nightmare. The second half. So I'm at a 2. I mean, I was so excited for this movie, you know, 9 years ago. I don't know. And I like Henry Cavill. I really want him to be in a good Superman movie.
Yeah. He deserves a better trilogy. And what they have planned, because I just saw some of the things that they were planning to do for, because, you know, every so often Zack Snyder will put out something to get the fans frothing again, and he just, some new information came out and stuff for what was going to happen, and it's just like, no, just stop, go do your zombie movies and be done with it.
Oh yeah, did you like Army of the Dead?
I fell asleep on it, man. It was not as good as I was hoping. I mean, Zombies in Vegas, directed by Zach Snyder. It should have been a hit, but it was just.
You can say that about most of his movies. It's like, this could have been, there's some good ideas here. Some neat visuals, some good ideas. It's just, it never fully comes together. Yeah, Army of the Dead, yeah, it was just kind of overlong, overcomplicated. I like the concept of like Escape from New York meets Ocean 11s, but they had to throw all this other stuff in there. And then the ending offended me with the fucking, the sequel setup. Give me a fucking break.
Yeah, stop trying to make a franchise out of everything. Give me a good movie.
You know the fucking weird thing about that movie is there was a spinoff about
the thieves,
the safe cracker. I'm like, what the fuck are we doing here? Who cares about?
Out of all the characters, I didn't care. I mean, he was cool, but it's like BVS. I mean, not BVS, Justice League. When they're like, Ezra Miller was the best thing out of. No, he wasn't. Stop giving some of these characters just because they're quirky or whatever. Like, I didn't care about Safecracker. He was kind of entertaining, but I didn't. Whatever, just give me a good movie, and if you can make a sequel out of it, if you watch, funny thing about that, if you watch Red Letter Media, their review out of it.
Oh, I did. I'm a huge Red Letter Media guy.
Wow, they exposed damn near just scene for scene plagiarism.
Oh yeah,
with Alien. I was like, wow.
Oh yeah, you know what? That's crazy. I did not realize. Well, that movie's a ripoff of a lot of things. Yeah, especially Aliens. I didn't even really realize it until I was watching. While I was watching it. But yeah. But this was fun. It was great to talk to you. Like I said, I mean, it's probably been like 6 years, maybe.
Something like that.
I'll definitely have to have you on again and talk about another. I mean, hell, maybe we'll do BVS. I mean, we'll definitely do another like comic book movie or something. But yeah, like I said, I appreciate you coming on. It was good to see you. And I'm bad at ending these, so I'm just gonna say thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Have a good one.